final. And our first player in the northwest position, the red Terran, an unstoppable monster. Can he continue to defy the odds? From Team Liquid, it is TaeJa. And his opponent, who has killed many a Terran player in this tournament so far, from Team StarTail, it is Life.
Life's list of victims already in this tournament. MMA, JYP, Pult, Stardust, Naniwa, Innovation. An incredible list. TaeJa's list of players he's been through already. Innovation, SOS, 4GG, Show, Liquid Hero, and then of course MMA we just saw. Both of these players just beating the top tier StarCraft 2 players that we have in the scene. So far both are 6-0. Who will make it 7-0? Who will make it to the grand finals?
Well, that's really the question, isn't it? I think the most interesting part of this whole game is that TaeJa's Terran versus Zerg, we have not seen this tournament. We've seen Life pull out some very fast Zergling Baneling aggression. We've seen him hold cheese with almost no problem whatsoever. And we've also seen him play out the very late macro game against, well, both MMA and Pult. And I'm mostly, it's just going to come down to, does TaeJa have what it takes to beat him in this head-to-head matchup? Life's playing the exact style that we anticipate. Hatchery first, then the gas, then the spawning pool. And TaeJa, he's just going to Reaper expand. Pretty standard openings from both players, to be honest.
That's right. Standard openings for an excellent series I'm sure we're all going to experience here. Remember, at DreamHack Bucharest, the tournament that Life qualified to get to DreamHack Winter here, these two players met in the semi-final, and it wasn't close. TaeJa did go 2-0 on the road to the final where he beat out Innovation 3-0. The last time they met, TaeJa took it. Will he repeat that success here? I don't think so, because Live played a great tournament at Bucharest, no doubt. Finishing top 4 at that stacked tournament is a great finish. But at this tournament, he's showing signs of similar play to what he showed at the end of last year, the beginning of this year, where he was on domination mode. He was unstoppable.
He's played almost perfectly, you could say, and that's one of the reasons why he has the 6-0 match score. The Reaper's going to come in to scout, but, I mean, Life has shown time and time again that he's not really vulnerable to this early Terran pressure that a lot of players bring, or if he does take damage, he can find ways to compensate, pull himself back. The Reaper is now trying to deal a little bit of pain. Queens are just past halfway done. Hasn't really killed off much of anything with this Reaper yet, and of course Life likes to keep those Zerglings alive. He's one of the players that's he makes Zerglings do things that Zerglings shouldn't even be able to do, it feels like, with just how much damage he does. Reaper finally might get something, still nothing yet. Life's control pretty solid. Finally loses a Zergling to this Reaper, and now the Queens are out.
Yeah, now the Queens are out and this Reaper won't really be able to do anything. But what it did see, by the way, is that it was, as you described, a hatchery extractor, then spawning pool build. With this build, speed is pretty much done exactly on 6 minutes. So it's 5 minutes 15 at the moment. There's 45 seconds before that upgrade is done. Does TaeJa want to be around coming up to that point? No, he doesn't. He does not want to lose the Reapers. It's a little bit sloppy because the Reapers, yes, they're becoming more and more useless as that clock approaches 6 o'clock, but or 6 minutes, should I say. But when the Hellions are out and they're together with the Reapers, that's when he can go back in. That's when he can do damage. But look at this build here. We have double gases taken. We have a barracks with a tech lab and a starport right next to it, hidden away, bear in mind, from StarTail Life.
Yeah, it seems to be that TaeJa's opting for a Hellion Banshee-based composition in the early phase of this game as Life takes the third hatchery. And, well, let's see. That barracks should be swapping over any second now. There it goes. The starport moving on to this tech lab. Banshees, is he going to opt for the cloak as well? There it is. So he's going to commit a little bit to this. And we saw Innovation actually try to bring a bit of this pressure. It didn't work out too bad. That was the game he obtained the early lead-in. If you keep the Hellions and the Reapers with that Banshee, if you apply pressure to a Zerg player that likes to play heavy Zerglings, there's a lot of opportunity to not only keep them away from your base, but to keep their unit count low, push them back, and it's a great way to deny the creep. The Overlord comes in, but we can see the positioning of this. I mean, TaeJa has the best opportunity to deny this scout that he's going to get from any other place he can put this, save his natural. He's also getting the tech up on the barracks. So Overlord might get the read on this.
He wants to get there, and he sees the tech lab, he sees the starport. A great move there by Life, and he does pick up that he is playing against Cloak Banshees. And immediately will begin Spore Crawlers, and pretty fast here we'll see eventually the layer coming out so we can get to Overseers. But a nice move there from Life. Gets the information he needed, because that could have been deadly if it wasn't gathered.
Yeah, and the Hellions and the Reapers are here trying to press the front. There's 3 Queens, though, for Life. He'll soon have a transfuse. He actually uses one pretty damn fast. He's playing with 5 Queens overall, so he's keeping 3 out front, waiting for that 3rd hatchery, which is now complete. Of course, he has to get a little bit more comfort zone here. Actually brings out the 4th Queen and starts to produce another. So he's going to play a 6 Queen, very defensive setup. Zergling's already trying to slip around the side for Life. We can see he says, okay, your army is here. TaeJa's actually committed quite a bit to the Hellions. He's got a couple extra more than you normally see, 8 of them, trying to press through these Queens. The Zerglings come up, though. He's starting to take out a few of them. The ramp being pressed up. TaeJa, a fast wall off helps. This command center's taking a lot of damage.
This command center's taking a lot of damage from some of these Hellions at the moment. That command center does not really want to get destroyed. Oh, it's gonna get destroyed, maybe. Yeah, it does. Nice pick up there by Life. And he breaks the front wall, and those Zerglings will start to pick off a couple of SCVs as well. And the SCVs do lose a couple of them, but he does clean up the Zerglings. Oh, another squad of Zerglings going to go around, but that wall off is there once again. And these Hellions and Banshees, they've only been doing damage to Queens, buffering the rest of the drones behind, saving them to a certain extent. But look here, he can do it again.
There's still only a single Marine, and a second one is coming forward. If he were to kill us off again, that would be catastrophic for the Team Liquid players. Actually bringing the Hellions back. The first loss of the command center was bad enough. The double engineering bay now rolling along, but Life's a little bit ahead in the upgrades. And I still feel killing that command center gives a huge lead. Now TaeJa's Banshee's headed towards the main base. This is, I don't know, already a really nice opening for the Startail Zerg player.
Absolutely, I completely agree with you. He's got the Spire down, he's got an Overseer being made just in case these Banshees randomly come into the main base with Cloak. And he's got a pretty good drone count, increasing it further with 10 more about to pop out. But these 2 Banshees with just a single Queen, and Life targets the low health one. Of course he targets the low health one, and then runs the Queen back to the Spore Crawler. Excellent move there from Startail Life. A couple of drones are going to get picked off in between these 2 bases. But the Banshee won't be able to do too much more in this game. Maybe deny a 4th base from being taken, but he's not going to get to the drone line. Look at the difference of the upgrades. Startail Life's had a much more streamlined build, a much normal build compared to TaeJa, who did go for the Banshee, did have his 3rd base slowed down a little bit, and through all of that, has gained a lead in this game, which we could see him exploit once those upgrades are finished.
And it's just really crazy to think that Life's managed to obtain this lead without doing anything extravagant. The evolution chambers were well timed. He didn't do anything super greedy, though. He just managed to play a good defense versus TaeJa and bring that pressure that he classically does to the table. That 2-2, as you mentioned, is going to be finished at a really nice time. If you can maintain an upgraded advantage as a Zerg, that's a huge boon to the mid-game stage where the Terran player, typically speaking, gets an upgraded advantage themselves. And I'm kind of wondering how fast Life will be looking at that potential Hive Tech, or if he's going to try to continue to push the upgrades, or if as this Baneley nest comes through, he really starts to amp up the aggression, already trying to press this natural once more as TaeJa looks to take his 3rd base.
Oh, nice close off wall there. Hellions even come in for a couple of pot shots on these Zerglings. They're trying to wiggle their way back to the Marines for help. And well, all of them get picked off apart from one there. But one thing I want to notice, even though Startail Life is really ruling this game for the majority of it, one thing that's missing is creep spread in a line away from his 4th base. That's going to be a location where TaeJa will want to eventually waypoint units down. And there is no creep spread around that 4th base. It's going to make things easier for TaeJa. We are seeing creep push down in that direction a little bit now. But if TaeJa starts moving out with the medivets that he has, a couple of scans are going to push that even further back. But with a threat of Mutalisk, it finishes just in the nick of time. Still, that is a danger point for Startail Life as the game goes on.
Yeah, now, I mean, Life's starting to just push up the Mutalisk count more. We see him do a great job of using pressure to keep the Terran back away from the base so that he can buy a time either for play or just bringing further harass. And now TaeJa's stepping out, trying to take out some of these creep troopers. He even still has these Banshees alive, opting not to just throw these away, helping out a little bit. And he's actually going to send them to harass this base. The Spore Crawler is not quite planted yet, so he might be able to pick off at least a few drones. Overseer, of course, coming with these Mutalisks won't last too much longer.
And TaeJa is around that 4th area now. I'm pretty sure he's going to scan, and there it is, just to get rid of the creep troopers. He is going to run away from these Baileys who do not have Bailey speed yet. Oh, Widowmine actually does a little bit of damage to those Marines instead. He does evacuate out, and Startail Life does take, or at least pushes TaeJa away from that and will retake that area for some creep. But he did kill the creep tumors. Still an important position for TaeJa.
Important to note, 2-2 is complete for life. He's
Yep.
got that upgrade advantage. 2-2's just about to hit the halfway mark, or at least the +2 attack upgrade is. Drilling Claws also starting, but this is where life's really starting to say, hey, I've got my economy set up most of the way that I wanted to for this game. 82 drones, very comfortable on that setup. And now the Banelings count. More Zerglings swarming across the field. Akalon Waste is probably about as good as a defensive map as you're going to get versus this type of heavy harass style. But here he goes, chasing down these rocks and can potentially try to hit this fourth base. TaeJa targeting down a few of these Banelings, keeping the pressure away from him.
Life turns around. He's going to take a fight here. There's a lot of Marines, and it looks like TaeJa is going to win that ground war. Didn't trade off too many units, though, just a couple of Bangs and Zerglings. And from here, 2-2 is soon to be completed from TaeJa, but he cannot allow Life to have the freedom that he's having currently. He's untouched across 4 bases. He's increasing his Mutalisk count. He's increasing his Baneling count. And I think that's starting to get a little bit scary for TaeJa. Once these 2-2 upgrades complete, he has to start doing something in this game. Otherwise, it is going to start to slip away.
Yeah, I think it's one of those situations where you either have to try to bring that pressure or you have to play ball and get your own extra expansions up. Life swinging around the right side, and these Zerglings actually going to trigger a couple of these Widow Mines. I think he's going to realize just how many are here. Drilling Claws, he can burrow quickly, but the bio not in position just yet. We're seeing TaeJa even already move into some Thor production behind us. 2-2's very, very close. With good splits, he could take a fight here, but, I mean, Life is maxed out. He has a huge army, and he could even try to just force this. He's coming in from a couple of directions. The Widow Mines, he needs the big hits, using them against TaeJa, and he's pressing him back towards the natural, starting to head up towards that ramp. Everything's funneling in. There's no bunkers. The Widow Mines hurting more and more of the bio. This choke point is pretty nice for TaeJa to spread out in front of, but the Medivacs being picked off all but 2 by these Mutalisks, and Life says, no, I actually have enough Mutas to fight these Marines. Head on, more Zerglings filling in. 26 rallied across the Thor, about to come out, but these Marauders not enough to stop this army. Life is already getting a huge advantage. The Banelings heading towards the natural mineral line. The Thor is out, but what can it do at this point? The third base left open as well. Command Center has to lift off. He's attacking this with the Mutalisks. A couple missile turrets get protected for the time being, but once those SCVs die, there's no repair available. Marines coming down the ramp. 28 Zerglings coming in, trying to drop the third base of Life at the same time, not able to continue to bring that pressure, and it looks like Life is going to come back to defend a little bit, try to just stabilize his setup and look for the next attack.
Good defense there from TaeJa. Lost a lot, but he did defend. There's a lot of mules as well coming down, which is going to increase his income. He survived, though. That looked like it could have been game over. But TaeJa holds on his natural. But still, the big point is out there that Life has gone untouched. I'm quite sure we're going to see a 5th base placed down very soon. But through going untouched for this long, with a 5th base coming down soon, which I'd expect, we may even see the infestation pit come down, starting to look towards getting up to Hive.
Yeah,
There's so much freedom that Life has.
We've passed that point where Life's little bit of an early edge has an impact on this game. The 3-3's on the way. He has the supply lead, but, I mean, TaeJa, if he plays really patiently, can maybe hold on. There's actually a contaminant on the Command Center as the Mutalisk movement. Again, this third base being ravaged. This is where the Mutalisk becomes so scary. He's basically saying, TaeJa, I've done so much damage. At the very least, I'm going to keep you locked in your 3-base setup for a long time. Now the 4th is trying to be established by the Team Liquidarian. Few Zerglings string by, not able to make anything happen. TaeJa must secure this 4th if he wants to maintain a foothold in this game.
Well, there's a lot of Banelings being morphed down south here, and I think that Life's going to try and prevent that 4th being taken. 45 SCVs. A lot have been slaughtered. These Mutalisks have done a great job so far, and they continue to do so. But here is the Hive coming in. He's looking to further his tech. He's looking to increase his upgrades and ultimately get over to those Ultralisks. But what is Life's next move? TaeJa on the back foot, always defending, always defending. He needs to somehow, make a remarkable defense and find an opportunity to cross the halfway line on this map.
Yeah, Thor does a great job of trying to just shoot away these Mutalisks. He's trying to keep at bay. There's the scan. He sees that the Hive is coming in. So at the very least, TaeJa knows their potential for an Ultralisk switch. The nice thing is that it's not here just yet. He can still crank out a few more Marines. He doesn't have to completely switch his production over as he does secure this base. So eventually we're going to see Marauders start to trickle in if the Ultralisks are the choice. TaeJa needs to be aware of this because Pathogen Glands is actually on the way. Burrow as well. And Life's just keeping his options open for different ways of harassing. I'm kind of wondering with Infestors, where exactly he's going to go with this Hive tech.
Well, TaeJa has established that 4th base and is now mining from it efficiently. 3-3 upgrades are on the way. That's a position where Life can probably start to do something in this game. And there we have a drop to the top right-hand side, a movement through the middle, and TaeJa fights back against what seems to be a dominant Life game so far.
And that Baneling positioning almost looked like Life was trying to just bait this army out, maybe get a solid surround on it with some of the forces he has towards the south side as well. But there's the Ultralisk Cavern, +3 attack and Carapace for those melee Zerg units. Ooh, TaeJa walking right in. A lot of these Banelings almost going to hit these Marines. Should be able to get away. The Widowmine actually takes out a lot. TaeJa gets a decent trade versus these Banelings.
Yeah, a good trade-off there, and he is taking
and
the supply lead for a little bit, and the Mutalisk are taking a lot of damage there. He gets right underneath with these Marines, and they're about to become 3-3, and he is going to move back to these Banelings, or away from these Banelings, should I say. A scan is going to eliminate these creep tumors, and for the first time in this game, in this 21-minute game, TaeJa's the one that's actually finally been able to do something to start to land some strikes and some blows over to his opponent.
It's critical that on a map where the 4th base is so easy to defend, TaeJa does his best to not the 5th. Even that picking up the Thor and the Medevac, saving that guy, keeping him alive. So good versus these Mutalisks, but he will finally get picked off. Able to take some more shots. Widowmine's detonating on some of these Banelings. There's still a lot of bio here for TaeJa. He's got a lot of Marines with this. Just Mutalisks can't overwhelm this yet.
This
How many
base doesn't
Banelings?
really want to get picked off in, Nathanius. There's a lot of Marines. There's not too much creep spread to help out. Baneling's getting morphed in. And if that face fist goes down, all the drones are coming off. He's really trying to protect it. Even some fungal growths come in. And it looks like Life. Is he going to be able to hold on? Remember, these are 3-3 Marines. No, he's not going to be able to hold on. Maybe these Banelings. Maybe. He's going to pull back. He's going to spread these Marines. And Life. It's so close between these two players. There's so few units for both of them.
The Baneling count's been so low. It's so hard to pick off these Marines.
He's
he
gonna
chases
hold on.
back. Life manages to hold on to this 5th base, but here comes the next wave. Still only 3 Banelings on the map. These Marines, all he needs is a decent spread and some good positioning with these Widow Mines.
The
Another
mines.
Thor as well. This is a lot of hit points coming up. If TaeJa can deny this 5th, this is the most crucial moment here for him to maintain this advantage that he's gotten, at least as far as having an even economy.
All right, is this it? This is where Life's going to go in, and it looks like there's a lot of Marines back there, and they all have 3-3. Not too many Banelings left. Oh, a Widowmine connects and kills off the rest of those Banelings. And once again, TaeJa marches forward. A top fight for this 5th base, who is going to hold position. The Mutalisk come down once again. A great pickup there from TaeJa to save them from the Banelings. But as you described, this is waypointed rally units from the barracks up here. Consistently waypointed. The archery is going to get picked off just about here. Oh, it's still alive.
18 hit points. The Marines take one shot. The Marauder picks it off. 8-9 Infestors coming out. Life is moving into a very heavy Infestor-based composition, trying to use the Fungals to hold this back. The Ultralisk Cavern's been done for a while, but none of those on the field. He's investing 12 Infestors on the production. He's putting out so many Infestors.
Look at the supply
trying to hold on.
difference. 160 for TaeJa, 113 after cracking that 5th base. And TaeJa has done it. Game number 1.